What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7, and today is day number 39 in our Noob to Awesome series. Now today we're going to be talking about guilds, what you should do, and what you should buy in the shop. We're also going to go into the new event and pick up the easy rewards that you don't even have to work for, so that is going to be great. We're also going to do some general housekeeping and expeditions and see what other things that we can do. So let's get started. What I like to do to start the day is check the Garrow shop. This is very important because it's a free refresh and you could have bookmarks here or even mystic medals. As a daily routine, I like to refresh the shop a few times to try and get at least one bookmark per day, or one set of 5, right? So this means that you're going to be sacrificing some of your gold and some of your sky stones, but overall you should see a reduction in a lot of the cost that it has in order to summon new heroes. And there we go, we see our mystic medals. Let's go ahead and we're going to be buying those. Now I like to start the day as well with some summons. I think today we only have a Covenant summon. Let's hope that we're going to get something good. No spark today. And we just get some food. For the 3-star artifacts, we're only keeping Tonfa, Daydream Joker, and also one max copy of the Prophetic Candlestick. Everything else you're just going to release. Next up is the Expedition, so we're going to come in and make sure that we claim all of this. It's about the 14th of the month, and I'm usually done with all of them before the second week. This is very important because you're going to get a ton of benefit from coming in and doing the expeditions. And most importantly is going to be a lot of this material that you need to reforge your gear, but also you're going to get a lot of modification. So very, very nice. Make sure you're doing this. And as we go through the game, we're going to now start to develop auto teams. If we go and look at the teams that we already have here, looking at our expedition teams, we're using the best heroes that we can, but it's going to be a long-term process. In the water expedition, I don't have any green heroes to use. Ideally, what I would want is a Cleary or a Senya in the front row. You might even be able to use Eula here, and she'll do fantastic for you. Then what you're going to need is a healer who can manipulate CR. That means you need something like a Lot, or maybe even something like a Tamarin who will work well here. Then we want some debuffers. I like to use Mercenary Helga, and we need someone who can attack. Now, when you get Landy will work well here. Also, you can use Green Sid, but I don't have those heroes built up at the moment. Let's go ahead and move on to our Dark Expedition. Now, you cannot use any light heroes here, so we're using Ras in the front row. Again, we would have a Tamarin here if we had her. You want at least 2 heroes that can do a non-skill attack. That way only half of your heroes have the debuff on them, and it relieves some of that pressure onto your healer. So we're using Azaria, we're also using Tamarin, and then 1 damage dealer. As we move forward and build up something like a Sirmia, or maybe even a Vivian, then those can be swapped in to do some more damage. On your fire expedition, I don't have Luna, so we're using Commander Lorena because she's going to be able to take the boss all the way out of that passive ability with her CR boost onto her S1. Put in the best knight that you have, and also bring in a debuffer. Frias is not amazing here because he has a burn on his S1. If you land 3 debuffs on the boss, he's going to cleanse and then he's going to murder your face, so try not to bring this guy in. Ideally, I would want something like a Luluka, maybe even something like a Terranor Guard. That would be a better choice. When we come into Earth, we want to use all fire heroes. Now I have Adventurer Ras. Cecilia does a better job. I also have Mercedes. Bomb Model does a better job, but until you build that hero, Mercedes is going to do well for you. Now, if you can bring in a Tamarin or a Mascot Hazel, then she'll do well. And Carmainerose is the debuffer I like to use. Tenebria is also good. Sage Ball is also good, although creepy, gives me nightmares. Not going to be using that guy. Now, when we come into this fight as well, we're going to be coming in with our Zealot Carmainerose, and she's going to be our one of our debuffers here. Now, this is the Light Expedition. You can use any night that you can except for dark. I'm probably going to be swapping in something like a Unbound Knight just for right now because he or she has a lot better gear than Ras does. Again, Cecilia would be the best in the slot here. Then you want someone who can remove the buffs on the boss while also putting down some of the defense breaks. And then you want a really good damage dealer. Ideally, you'd want somebody who can do single target damage. I like Sirmia. Right now, she doesn't have any gear, but she'll go into this slot as well. Next up, we're going to our specialty change. I've completed Glenn and also Carmainerose. Now, I don't really have any plans to use Glenn, but whoever gets this account, they might be able to use this hero very nicely to do a lot of things that we see in either PvE or PvP. Now, Carmainerose is one of my very, very favorite heroes. I think that she's just awesome. Let's go ahead and we're going to see what her specialty change looks like.
Time to spread the word.
So much better. Now, she does a fantastic job. I use her into a lot of content, and she's really great as we come into the Earth Expedition and also the Light Expedition. So we're going to be building her, and she does pretty much everything, right? She's going to be able to remove buffs. She's going to add unbuffable. She's going to buff herself. She's also going to have a slow debuff, and she has access to all those juicy mage artifacts. So really, really great here. Here we go now into your first A13 team. We want to be able to come into A13 because it has the Rage set. Very, very important for doing big damage into Abyss and also onto your hunts and onto your expeditions. Immunity set also very good into PvP. Now your very base level team is going to be a damage dealer that you have, we're using Mercedes. If you have Green Vildred, he will work better in this slot. We're also using Azaria that we picked up from our first selective summons. We're going to need a healer. I'm using Montmorency. If you have Tamarin, then she'll do a much better job. And then we need some more dispels. I have Unbound Knight Airwell here. If you have Ras, you can use him as well. Turn off his skills, and that way he's going to be able to dispel on that S1, although it is a 75% chance. Now, this team should win onto a full auto team. So let's go ahead and we're going to see how that works.
Forever.
For this team to work, it's best to have two sources of defense break, also two sources to remove buffs on the boss. Also, you need to have a damage dealer who can hit hard enough to kill the egg in one hit. So that's very important, because if it takes more than one hit to kill the egg, then you're going to have a problem keeping them from hatching, and now that boss also is going to take a lot less damage from having his buffs up.
Bloom. Beyond the abyss, to the ends of futility. It's going to be okay. Obey me.
So as you can see here, my Mercedes has no skill ups in her S1, so she was not able to completely kill the egg on the very first turn. That can be a big problem, so make sure that you have enough damage that you can be able to do that on the very first turn. Now Azaria is really good here because she's going to remove the buffs on the boss, put up unbuffable, and also defense break, which is very, very nice.
Unveil your eye of terror.
Those who stray from the path of righteousness shall be punished.
It's hard, but I won't give up.
My Montmorency has like 170 resist, and this boss just hit her with a silence, so you just never know what you're gonna get.
Obey me. Oath of the White Flower. Over here.
Focus.
Even if it's just a little.
I really want to help.
Obey me.
Join me.
Let me help you.
That must have been painful.
Okay, and that's basically going to be the whole fight. If you want to, you can use your Guardian if you happen to be watching.
Now
If you're
get on my
just
way.
putting it onto a background battle, then you might not have that option. But this team should have a full auto battle clear without any problem. Now, if you do the
Beyond the
Guardian,
abyss,
you want to make sure that
to
you
the
do it on
ends
the
of
appropriate
futurity.
turn. So we want to do it on either the night
Don't
turn,
ever
or
ignore
we
the
want to
power
do
of
it onto
someone
the Azaria turn.
with something to protect.
Let's go ahead and we are going to click it so I can show you how much damage the Guardian does. You see, only 18,000, which is not amazing. It's not a ton of damage. It's not going to help you speed it up that much faster, but it might help you kill the
Obey
eggs
me.
in a pinch, especially for our
Obey me.
Zaria or our
Here I
Mercedes,
go.
who does not have 100% crit rate.
Forever. I pledge myself.
It's going to be okay.
My sword.
Ta-da! Here comes Arky.
Sacred power.
It's hard, but I won't give up.
Blaze. Obey me. Obey me.
That must have been painful.
Obey me. Obey me.
So there we go, on to A13. That is a quite a long fight. We're going to have to do a lot of upgrades to a lot of these heroes to make it faster. Now again, if you have the green Vildred, he's going to do a much better job because he's going to be able to kill the ads much easier. Some people also use their Arbiter Vildred. Now I don't have one built, so that's not an option for me. But when we look at this type of gear, there's quite a lot of room for improvement, including maxing out these skills. Let's go ahead and look at Montmorency. Again, if you have a Tamarin, then she's going to do a better job, but Montmorency does do well for us here. Unbound Knight has a Dispel onto her S number 3, also a Dispel onto her S number 1, so very important to help take those buffs off that boss. Then we have Azaria. Very important is you don't want to bring too many debuffs in for the boss. You want to bring only 2 total. Now she comes with a defense break and unable to be buffed. That means that everyone on your team cannot have any sort of debuff. Because if you land 3 on the boss and now you're going to have a problem, he's just going to come, smack you in the face, and you're going to totally die and regret it. With the A13 down, let's come into our adventure path and make sure that we're collecting our rewards. Don't lose track of this. It's very easy for it just to drop off the radar. Also, we don't collect these buffs until you're ready because they're going to activate as soon as you collect them. Instead, just come to the one you want, collect that, and then move on. As we scroll down here, we do see that we have some things. Here is looks like a hero. Okay, we get Eula. She is an interesting Earth Knight. She's basically like an Earth Crow, right? with the penetrate onto her S number 3, but also she has 100% chance to redirect provoke, which is very nice when you go into RTA because people are not expecting her to be a debuffer. They're expecting her to be a attacker. So Eula, she could come in handy. Let's go ahead now and collect all of our rewards. That way we can come in and do our final summon in the adventurer's path. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start onto the spirit altar. We have so many runes that we have to farm. We're going to go and get a lot of runes for our Lorena. Also onto Fire Day, we're going to make sure that we have the ability to level up our Carmainerose, which I like quite a lot. Let's go now into a Midsummer Paradise. This is going to be an endgame PvE event where you can get lots of rewards. By endgame, I mean that you're going to need at least 6 heroes capable of fighting Leith, plus Rowana or Ocean Breeze Luluka. Luckily for us, there are some great rewards just reviewing the story, so let's go in and check that out first.
How could you make me wait this long?
We see this button down here on the right called View Story. Now we are on act number 2, but you have to go through the first act. And as you see going down through, we have story rewards. So this is an amazing opportunity. What we want is to view the story, and you can then choose to enjoy all of the different dialogue that happens. But basically all you have to do is that. You can go ahead and click skip, and then you can collect all of the rewards both from chapter 1 and from chapter number 2. Now that we've completed all of our story, let's go ahead and we can click on receive all. Very, very good. You will not get this much benefit from doing anything else with this energy, so make sure you're coming in and getting all these rewards. While we're at it, we can go ahead and receive all again with chapter number 2. In the next coming weeks, we'll have chapter 3 and chapter 4 open up, so keep track of this event to make sure you're getting all those rewards. Of course, if you ever want to review the story again, go ahead and click view, and you'll be able to go back through the entire thing again in your journal. For our mid and end game players out there who were able to challenge this boss, you can come into the mileage shop and get some really amazing rewards, fantastic rewards even. At 100, you have the souvenir exchange, and each one of these items will drop at random, but at the end of chapter number 2, you have 30 different exchanges. Now level 1 boss will drop about 40 currency without the artifact, which means that you're going to have to do it at least 75 times, and it's going to take about 2,250 energy to buy out the souvenir exchange. We have some illustration, and this is nice if you want to use it as a background. Then we also have the epic equipment exchange. For 400, meaning you have to do it at least 10 times, you're going to be able to craft an epic piece of gear in the set that you want, which is really, really fantastic. When we click on this as well, it says that it's level 85 gear, and you can reforge it, and there's no limit. So this is great for endgame players to really build that arsenal of gear. So let's go into where you get the currency. Very first thing is we have an enhanced artifact. If you have a copy, you are going to get 10% additional currency up to a maximum of 40%. But we're going to go into the hot springs, and this is where the very first currency is going to appear as you go down in the levels of difficulty. This secondary currency will probably appear in the next chapters 3 and 4, so keep on the lookout for that. Now when we click on start, we're going to challenge this boss, and it's going to be very challenging. So let's go ahead and look at our soul weavers. I think we're going to need a soul weaver into the top, and we're going to need to put a soul weaver into the lock. Now I'm using the Ocean Breeze Luluka. If you have her, she's going to be best in slot right here. Although Rowana does pretty good here as well, and I noticed some people are using her. Now I think that we're going to need some mitigation onto the bottom, and now we're going to utilize our damage dealers to fill in the extra slots. So let's go ahead and go with a let's go with a Sigret. Let's go with a Celine. We're also going to use Commander Arena, and then let's try and fit in a Mui and see how it goes. Here we go with stage number 1. I'm really excited to see what this boss can do.
You can run.
Looks like she
You
starts
can't
with an
hide.
AoE ability, and she's
All the
putting down
same
some debuffs.
consequences.
Oh,
Now we have
there's no
Ocean
need to
Breeze, who's going to
thank me.
remove those
Here I
debuffs,
go.
and we also have Mom Morancy to help keep us alive.
All
We're using
obstacles.
Cigarette and Mooey today from our Wyvern team, mostly because that's who I
They'll
have,
never
but it
get
looks like
close
they're
to
doing
me.
a pretty good job. Now, once you knock
Such
her down to half, she's going to
incompetence.
transition to her next phase, and there we see it. So now we're going to go into the next team that we have built.
That was never
She
gonna work.
maintains her health, so now you only have to do 50% more damage to her to finish out this first level. We only have
Those who stray
the
from the
one
path
Soul
of
Weaver built,
righteousness
so we're gonna have to
shall be
deal with these
punished.
debuffs. But we do bring in Airwell, who's going to be very good at mitigation and hopefully keep our heroes alive. Lorena, she
Should
does
I
just
show
so
you
much
my
damage,
secret weapon?
and now we have a
It's not
Celine
my
who's
fault
going
if
to
you get
clean up.
hurt.
Okay, very nice. So it looks like with just the heroes that we have built already, we're able to do level 1. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is that you will get more currency when you use your side story pet. So don't forget that. At 44, now we're going to be able to get that 3,000 that we need, and it's going to take 68 runs or 2,045 energy. But you see, we're getting stigma, we're also getting gold and reforged materials, which is going to help us. Now let's go ahead. We're going to go into part number 2 and see how that goes.
Get out of my sight.
Okay, we see part number 2, and we saw a message saying Dispel Fragment. That's because we have Ocean Breeze, who is going to dispel one fragment on
Time is
number
lefty goal.
2. She only has one fragment, so that is going to basically put her at the same
Death
level
is
as number
closer
1,
than you
but
think.
she's going to be a little bit stronger of a battle.
Obey.
Looks like we're not having
Dealing
any
with
problem
you
with number 2 so far, and
just
we
a
already
waste of
knocked her
my
into that
time.
next phase.
You can run. You can't hide.
And we see we get that same message that we dispel a fragment. That's because our Ocean Breeze Luluka also contributes to that second battle. If you don't put her in the key
Don't
slot,
ever
then
ignore
she's
the
not
power
going
of
to
someone.
dispel, and this boss is going to be a much
Something
harder
to
fight.
protect.
All enemies will fall to my spear.
Step back if you value your life. Don't say I didn't warn
Behold!
Very good, that Ocean Breeze helping us by removing those debuffs. We also land a blind on the boss. That will help out a lot to reduce the damage we receive.
Why am I so busy?
You know, I kind of like this animation. I didn't think that I would, but I kind of do. It's pretty fun.
You'll never get close to me. Such incompetence.
And just like that, level 2 is over. Hopefully we get lots more currency. 51, okay. That means to max out and buy your souvenir shop, you'll have to do 59 runs on level 2 or 1,765 energy. Let's go ahead and see level 3. I doubt very much we'll be able to do it, but let's at least give it a try. Level 3, so much more powerful than level 2. When we look at our passive ability, now we see a level 2 memory fragment, 30% chance to increase her attack for 2 turns before activating freeze. We also see that at the end of the 12th turn, she's just going to destroy everyone. so you must bring in more damage once you get to level 3. So what we're going to do here is we're going to swap in Furious to hopefully get past this first phase. We're also going to change up the bottom team a little bit to try and get past this one as well. I don't think this bottom team is going to survive, and we don't have any heroes that we can substitute in, so let's see how this goes. Also, don't forget to put your pet down here. They are going to help you even when you are not doing your repeat battling, because you're going to get the bonuses from the currency. Now, very important for Furious is that we have to be able to land debuffs on the boss. So we can see 80 effect resist, which means that you need at least 65 if you're going to be battling in level 3. So we do get the defense break. We also get a target debuff. Very good there. Now let's hope that we can do enough damage.
This is your end.
So far, so good. Lucky dual attack. Now this boss is going to lap and remove that defense break before Sigurd gets another turn. If we knocked her down enough, then Sigurd will be able to use that S2 and get the extra attack, which will help out quite a lot. And there we go.
This is insane. Why am I so busy? There's never enough time. You can run, but you can't hide.
All decisions. Forward, forward.
Let's hope for another defense break here, and then maybe we can knock her into that next phase. Okay, so we do get it.
You'll never get close to me. Such incompetence.
So we can see 6 turns have passed. And there is phase 1 down. We're at about 2 minutes now, which is as much time as it took for the second stage to fully complete. So a lot more time now to beat level 3.
Behold!
Okay, so we do get the proc from Ocean Breeze. Very nice. Now let's hope that we land this debuff. We're also going to remove her speed and hopefully get some big damage on Lorena. 22,000, pretty nice.
Should I show you my secret weapon? It's not my fault if you get hurt.
26,000 off of Celine. It looks like we're going to need quite a lot more damage though.
Hey you! Watch out! I tried to warn them.
Oath of the White Flower.
Now, if you wanted to play this on manual, you would be able to soul burn here and maybe keep that defense break up and do a lot more damage. But the whole purpose is to have something that we can auto battle, right? We want to farm passively. We don't want to have to do it on manual. So if that's the case, I recommend just going to stage 2, which is probably what I'm going to do. One, because stage 3 is taking quite a long time, but also I don't know if this team is going to be able to handle it. Well, there goes Lorena.
Such incompetence. That was never gonna work. Here's one on the house. Whenever, wherever. That's the Lulaka Pro.
Forever. I pledge myself.
Very nice, removing those buffs, also landing the blind.
Dealing with you.
Oh, but she cleanses herself when she procs that extra turn. 25,000 left to go. I don't think that we're going to have enough in the tank with Celine. Now, if we change Celine into a different artifact, like Aaliyah's knife, then that's going to work out much better than the artifact that we have for PvP, which is the Tonfa.
You can't hide.
I gave you a chance. It's too late to say sorry now.
There we go. Can't believe that that actually worked. Let's see what we get. We do get a charm, which is nice. 57, that means it'll take you 53 runs or 1,579 energy to buy out that shop. But we are getting quite a lot of stigma, which will help us to make some 6-star units. Overall, this is a very fun event. We're able to farm level 2 and level
That was
3 on
never
our
gonna
new
work.
account, which will unlock lots of rewards. I'm at a point where I want to make more level 60 heroes to make episode 4 and also events like this much easier. This will give me an opportunity to farm, and if you have a lot of the heroes that do well inside this
Please
event,
disappear.
then it will be much easier and faster for you as well. Things like Alencia or Shu would help out quite a lot. Rowana will also help. Make sure that each one of your teams has a defense breaker, and I think that you're going to do good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a like so it looks like you can find it as well. Until next time, happy
You'll
hunting
never get close
and
to
good
me.
luck on your battles.
Such incompetent.